Leaving New York City for central New Jersey? If you've been watching what's happening around New York City lately, you can feel it. Not in a dramatic way, not in a headline grabbing way, but in conversations, at birthday parties, at work, at family dinners. More and more people from Staten Island and Brooklyn are saying the same thing quietly. We're thinking about New Jersey. And this isn't just a handful of people testing the waters. It's not just young couples chasing a backyard. It's not retirees downsizing to something simple. It's families. It's professionals. It's business owners. It's grandparents who want to be their kids. You know, everybody wants free babysitting. It's 20 and 30 somethings who grow up in Brooklyn and are now raising families of their own. Come on, you come out here, you got great backyards. Everything you need is right here. There is a real shift happening. And when you zoom out and look at where people are actually going, you start to see a pattern. They're not scattering randomly across the state. They're moving with intention into central New Jersey, towns like Manalapan, Marlboro, Freehold, Monroe Township, and Old Bridge. And once you really look at what's pulling them in, it makes sense. Let's start with something simple. Space. You know how jammed everything is in New York. Or even think about the parking with the snowstorm we just had. It's crazy. Everybody's blocked in. So if you lived in parts of Brooklyn or Staten Island for years, you're used to maximizing every square foot. Finished basements that double as family rooms, driveways that require a little choreography to get everyone in and out, backyards that are functional but tight. Think about those in Brooklyn, they have those driveways you share with your neighbor. That's crazy. When people come to towns like Marlboro and Manalapan for the first time, what hits them immediately is breathing room. Wider streets, larger lots, homes that aren't stacked on top of each other, garages that actually fit 2 cars comfortably, and storage. And it's not just square footage inside the house, it's the lot itself. There's room for a patio, room for a play set, room for a dog to run. My dog loves running in my backyard. Room for hosting holidays without everyone squeezing around a folded table. For families with young kids, that changes daily life. For professionals working hybrid schedules, that's extra bedroom becomes a true office instead of a desk tucked into a corner. You know, you always hate those catty corner desks. But here's the key. This movement isn't just about bigger, it's about structure. Central Jersey towns are built around neighborhoods, developments, planned communities. You see cul-de-sacs where kids actually ride bikes. You'll see sidewalks that connect entire sections of town. You'll see community pools, tennis courts, walking paths woven into residential areas. Take Old Bridge, for example. It offers a mix of established neighborhoods and newer developments, plus proximity to the Garden State Parkway and Route 9, which keeps people connected to North Jersey, Staten Island, and even down towards the shore. Or Freehold, especially around Freehold Township, where you get the balance of suburban layout with commercial hubs nearby. You're not driving 30 minutes just to grab dinner or groceries. Everything is accessible. And here's Monmouth Township, which has become a magnet for active adult communities. If you've ever driven through some of those 55-plus neighborhoods, you know what I mean. Clubhouses, pools, organized events, low-maintenance living. They take care of all the shoveling, everything for you. For someone leaving a larger home in Staten Island where snow removal and lawn care are still your responsibility, that feels like freedom. And what's interesting is how often generations follow each other. I've sold houses where I've sold to 4 different brothers, 4 different sisters. The parents, the kids, they all keep coming over here. Parents move to Monroe for the lifestyle. The adult children look at Marlboro and Manalapan for the school and larger homes. Suddenly, the whole family is within 15 or 20 minutes of each other, just across a state line. That's not accidental. Now, let's talk about schools, because whenever people say it publicly or not, this plays a big role in decision making. Towns like Marlboro and Manalapan are known for organized, well-regarded school districts. For families planning long-term, that stability matters. Even buyers without kids think about resale value and how schools affect demand. And when you combine with suburban planning, sports leagues, community events, and parks, it starts to paint a picture of what daily life looks like. Speaking of parks, this is another piece of the puzzle that doesn't get enough attention. Central New Jersey is loaded with green space. In Marlboro and Manalapan, you have access to large county parks with trails, playgrounds, and open fields. In Old Bridge, there's Cheesequake State Park, which gives you hiking, biking, and even waterfront views that don't feel like you're in the middle of suburbia. And if you're heading to a little further south from Freehold, you're within striking distance of Alair State Park, wooded trails, historic villages, space to breathe. That access to nature becomes part of everyday life. It's not a vacation. It's just your regular Saturday morning. And then there's something that's uniquely Jersey, the shore. From Manalapan, Marlboro, or Freehold, you could break it down from Point Pleasant Beach or Long Branch in under an hour. Matter of fact, for a lot of these locations, probably in about 35 minutes, depending on traffic. For a lot of people, Brooklyn and Staten Island residents, beach days were either crowded city beaches or long trips. Now, it's realistic to wake up, check the weather, and decide you're heading to the shore for the afternoon. That's lifestyle shift, and subtle but powerful. And here's something else that's driving this movement: flexibility. Work has changed. Hybrid schedules, remote roles, business owners who don't need to be physically present 5 days a week. When you don't have to commute daily, geography opens up. Suddenly, living 45 minutes to an hour outside of the city isn't a deal breaker. It's manageable. And when you compare that trade-off to what you gain, space, community, parks, proximity to the shore, many people decide it's worth it. Now, let's address something honestly. Leaving Brooklyn or Staten Island, it's not easy. I know. I live in Staten Island. I'm from Queens. These places are layered with history. Family homes passed down. Block parties. Who doesn't love the block parties you have in Brooklyn? Churches. We got churches down here too, though. Favorite pizza spots you've been going to for 20 years. Okay, I'll give you that. You're not going to find pizza in Central Jersey that you will in Brooklyn, okay? Or Staten Island. I'll give you that. No one makes this move lightly. That's why you're seeing people choose towns where other former New Yorkers already live. Well, people already call Manalapan the new Staten Island. You hear familiar accents at the grocery store. You meet neighbors who say, "We moved from Staten Island last year." You realize you're not starting from scratch. You're just shifting the settings. And over time, that builds momentum. One family moves, their cousin visits. A friend comes to a barbecue. 6 months later, they're house hunting in the same town. That's how migrations grow. Now, let's explain beyond the core towns for a moment. Places like Colts Neck, or for large estate and more rural settings for buyers looking for private and acreage. A lot of equestrian properties are there as well, too. A lot of people like horses. Obviously, Colts Neck is a great place to go. Homedale brings a slightly more upscale suburban feel with rolling landscapes and strong commuter access. East Brunswick attracts families who want access to major highways and established neighborhoods with mature trees and strong community infrastructure. Each town has its own personality. Look, Manalapan has the boss. It's boss style over there. But the thread connecting them is intentional suburban living with access, not isolation. And that's the part people are responding to. This isn't about running away from New York. It's about redefining your daily life. It's about action. What does Tuesday feel like? What does Saturday look like? What do we want our kids to remember? Do we want them to remember that they got to run around and drive their bikes around the neighborhood and play basketball in the parks? That's what we want them to remember. Where do we want holidays hosted? There's plenty of room in everybody's house to host those holidays. How much maintenance do we want at this stage of our life? Those 55 plus communities. When you frame the decision that way, it becomes less emotional and more practical. And here's something important. This movement isn't fueled by panic. It's fueled by evaluation. Evaluate. People are doing the math. They're looking at property taxes, commuting patterns, home sizes, long-term plans. They're comparing what they have with what they could have. Everybody wants a backyard. Everybody wants the pool. Not every house has that in Staten Island and Brooklyn. It's much smaller, at least. And when enough people reach similar conclusions at the same time, it feels like a mass migration. But underneath it, it's individual households making thoughtful decisions. Some will stay in Brooklyn. Some will stay in Staten Island. And for them, that's the right call. They're never going to leave New York. But for many right now, Central New Jersey really feels aligned with the next chapter of their life. It's home. Not trendy, not flashy, but aligned. If you've been feeling that pull, even quietly, it's worth taking a real look at what's driving it. Is it space? Is it the schools? Is it proximity to parks? Is it being 45 minutes from the shore instead of 2 hours? Is it simplifying maintenance? Is it building equity in a different environment? Clarity comes from answering those questions honestly, because moves like this aren't about chasing headlines. They're about deciding your daily life. And once you see what's actually pulling families into towns like Manalapan, Marlboro, Freehold, Monroe, Old Bridge, Colts Neck, Homedale, and beyond, this shift doesn't feel mysterious anymore. It just feels logical. And when a decision feels logical and aligned, that's when it sticks. If you're just exploring, that's okay. No rush, no pressure. But understanding the why behind this movement and seeing what life actually looks like on the other side can make everything a lot clearer. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about leaving something behind. It's about stepping something that fits better. Catch you in the next one.